Hi guys, good evening and welcome back once again to The Edward. I'm your host Eddie, and in tonight's video I will be discussing what I thought of the latest and fantastic episode of Andor, which dropped today on Disney Plus. Ooh, this was good. So much to talk about. Now, before I get into all of that, of course, please be warned, this is a spoiler-filled review. So if you have not seen the latest episode of Andor, if you're not kept caught up by today's episode, do not keep watching or listening, as I will be discussing spoilers, plot details, character stuff, all that jazz. That being said, you have been warned. All right, let's dive right back into it. Excellent episode. This was so good. This might have been the best episode yet. And I say yet because we still have season 2 to get through, which I'm excited for. But this was fantastic. Not only did we get an action-packed escape sequence where all these guys finally escape this prison, but we also got some fascinating reveals about like the mole that Axis or Rail has in ISB. That's the Imperial Security Bureau, who's the guy that he met with in the elevator. And apparently he's the one feeding him all this information. And then it also showed us, this episode showed us that Rail is so willing to go so far to ensure the survival of the rebellion as to sacrifice 50 rebels in one rebel cell who are about to fall into a trap laid by the Empire. That's what that, that's what that distressed ship was earlier with the dead rebel pilot. That's what the Imperials were talking about earlier. And even though the inside man tries to warn Axis about it, he's like, no, let it proceed as scheduled, like let it proceed as planned. He's like, we're gonna sacrifice 50 rebel troops or 50 rebels in order to ensure the survival of the rebellion as a whole. I mean, this guy is committed, deadly committed. I would say he's just as committed, if not more committed, than Saw Gerrera. And Saw Gerrera is considered an extremist rebel. And I'm wondering if this guy is an extremist in his own way. The fact that he's willing to let 50 rebels die in an Imperial trap just to ensure the survival of the rebellion or to make sure that the rebel network stays safe is shocking. And that is commitment right there. So that was a great scene. And then his revealing his desire, his like rebellious desire and overall problem he has with the Empire and everything, using the tools and resources of his enemies against them. That was a great little pep talk and speech, basically telling Lonnie, the ISB agent, why he's stuck now in this double agent life, even though he's a new father with a little girl. He doesn't want to be a spy for the rebels anymore because he's a family man now. But Axis basically tells him, no, you're in it for good now. I'm sorry, but you're in it for good. And he brought up some excellent points. I mean, it sucks that this guy's stuck in a compromising position, but, Rail brought up some good points about it. But anyway, so that was great. And then I loved the escape sequence. And I think we got a little glimpse as to one of the few people who inspire Cassian to actually join the rebellion later on down the road, probably in season 2, with Kino's arousing speech about escape and finally breaking free of this place, and then like inspiring all the inmates to come together and finally push and fight their way out, which they do. And then ironically, I don't know if this is worse than killing him or if like him dying from a blaster wound or whatever, but they get to the edge of freedom and the guy can't swim because they are surrounded by water, and right before Cassian can figure out how to help him, he's pushed into the water by clamoring inmates, leaving Kino up on the edge there of the surface. I sure hope we see him again, and I sure hope he escapes and makes his way off of that planet, because that guy deserves a happy ending, or he at least deserves to get out of that godforsaken prison. So, I mean, that was just such a bitter, ironic twist. But on the same time, I'm glad they didn't kill him, which means that he could still escape and pop up again in later episodes. I sure hope so. Fantastic episode, though. Also like the stuff with Mon Mothma. She met with the banker guy, and I knew there was a catch when he said that he didn't want to be paid or there was going to be no service fee or nothing. Turns out, I guess her home world, which is where he's from too, Chandrila, has an arranged marriage tradition or custom, but she obviously is far too progressive to believe or follow such archaic traditions. And based on her reaction, it is not the fate she wants for her daughter at all. And to be clear, not marry the banker guy, marry his 14-year-old son or betroth them. But clearly, she isn't down with that, although she may be left with no choice if she really just need to funnel money somewhere more secure, somewhere off the books, somewhere the Empire won't see it or take notice, because it sounds like this guy is her best chance to do that. So it'll be interesting to see what Mon Mothma ends up doing in that regard. But man, this was a fantastic episode. We got some compelling, rich, monologue-driven scenes balanced out with some exciting, action-packed, good old Star Wars excitement as well. A very, very well-balanced episode where we didn't have too much of either one, but an excellent balance of both. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I may have to rewatch this episode. It was so good. So good. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. So what did you think of it? I'd love to hear your thoughts and feelings on it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Andor only has 2 episodes left this season, both dropping in the next two Wednesdays on Disney Plus. Have an awesome rest of your night, everyone. Thanks for watching, and of course, until next time, may the Force be with you.